Nerd Academy podcast is released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, available on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also help support the show by going to patreon.com/The Nerd Academy podcast, where every donation allows us to bring you more exciting content every week.
Almost tasted that. Num 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 num, eat it up. Go play okay, 3, 2, 1. You know I'm not.
Was it cutting out for you?
No, that was fine. Was
it cutting out?
No, that worked.
No,
it was fine.
Almost tasted that. Num 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 num, eat it up. Go play okay, 3, 2, 1. You know I'm the hottest. You ain't never gotta heat me up. I'm present. You.
I love it. Who made that?
Scotty did. Is it like buffering and slowing down for you?
No, it was playing perfectly fine.
Like the theme song and everything? Like it wasn't freezing?
Yeah, everything was 100% fine on my end.
Fuck me running. Well, welcome to the Nerd Academy podcast, everybody. I don't have time to sit at my computer and have this render for 8 hours today. So one more time for the one time.
You almost tasted that. Num 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 num, eat it up. Go play okay, 3, 2, 1. You know I'm the hottest. You ain't never gotta heat me up. I'm present. You.
Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to plug in my Ethernet cable. And Mitch, introduce yourself and tell the lovely people where they can find you while I do this very quickly.
Hi, I'm Mitch. You can follow me on Twitter at 692tweets and Instagram at 692pics. You can find me on youtube.com/ I think it's now at TCBC. I don't know if YouTube's changed it from a URL to a tag because I don't pay attention to that stuff, but you can find me there on, I think it's Saturdays. The podcast comes out, and Monday, Tuesday, whenever there's a show out, me and Sean talk about the stuffs. And yeah, that's about as energetic as I get in these things because, yeah, I don't know. How long does it take to plug in an Ethernet cable? Should be the new how long is a piece of string? I don't know. Is this Ethernet cable 6 years long?
To answer your question, that was made by one Scotty J. Rowe. He made that. He made
the absolute magnum opus. That is the Joker one.
The Joker one, yes. I don't think I've posted that publicly yet.
No.
Those gentlemen found some good blackmail on me, which was
so the wedding was good.
Ye old days of Joker cosplays. From my teen years. Listen, I was never a weirdo about it. I was always like, Joker's a great villain, and I like the aesthetic. It's okay. I like other movies. But ever since then, they will refer to it as Jared, spelled my name, Leto.
Wow, that's unfortunate.
Which is quite funny. So Scotty, out of nowhere, sends in this like render of me in the Joker dancing scene, which I said I would debut on TNAP sometime soon. I'm not showing that one yet. I think it is on Twitter, but
You almost tasted that. Num 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 num, eat it up. Go play okay, 3, 2, 1. You know I'm the hottest. You ain't never gotta heat me up. I'm present. You.
I had to do it one more time.
I can't think what the dance reminds me of something, and for the life of me, I can't think what it is.
It's the Toby dance. It very much feels like that, and I didn't even do that intentionally. Because I made a joke. I'm like, can someone put me in like the Spider-Man 3 scene? And I went, oh, that's what it looks like. That's why it works with everything. That's why it works with everything.
Yeah.
But little opening show hiccup aside, welcome everybody back to the Nerd Academy podcast, your source for nerddom news and commentary. I'm your host, the headmaster, superior web headmaster, Jarod Bachman Stubbs, and joining me for our TV review, of course, you guys know it is Mitch from the Comic Book Cast, as he has introduced himself already on my behalf. Very excited to talk She-Hulk. I am disappointed that time and schedule did not allow for weekly reviews of this show, because I can tell you right now, every single week would have been a glowing review. But before we jump into the review itself, you guys know the drill by now. We have a word from our lovely sponsors at sundaysbloodymary.com. As I said, Sundays Bloody Mary, the most badass Bloody Mary accoutrement in the universe. They have their 2-time award-winning spicy Caesar mix, which is my go-to. They also have their mild and traditional mixes if you're not a spicy person yourself. And the traditional mix is also animal product free if you're in the vegan crowd. They also have their garnishes of their pickled dilly beans, okra, and asparagus, as well as brim salt and things of the like. So get yourself over to sundaysbloodymary.com/shop. Use code TNAP, TNAP at checkout. Get 10% off your order, and you help out your favorite nerds while you do it. Now, Mitch.
See.
From its announcement, I was always super excited for She-Hulk. And a lot of that was because I had no idea how they were even allowed to make She-Hulk.
I was the opposite. This was like Loki for me. I was like, I have no idea about Hulks. I knew a little bit about She-Hulk, right? Like, you know a little bit about everything. But I was like, it's bottom of the pile. I don't care. I just don't find Hulk's interesting. You know, she's the funny one. She's this, that, yada, yada, yada. Cool. Threw it straight in the bottom of the pile with Loki. And I have regretted that decision every week for the last 9.
I mean, yeah. I was curious in a very like, well, how are they even able to do this? And the onset, the challenge that is presented by a She-Hulk show, of, well, you're gonna have to do this show that could be incredibly expensive. And the way that they kind of work around that by going, no, we're not going to do a whole lot of superheroing. This is mostly going to be like a really introspective, reflective comedy. And we're not going to have like big stakes and battles a lot. And it completely works. It is tonally so fun. It is so funny. And the entire cast is so unbelievably, unshakably charismatic that even the characters I didn't like by design, like your Titanias and so on, I was like, ooh, what are they doing here this week? You know, like there was a legitimate sense of excitement that I had, even for the episodes that I thought at first were going to be a bit of a drag. So yeah, no, up top thoughts there. It's weird because I hate when I do your review first, because I feel like I've said everything I have to say by then.
See, I always do the stuff and I'm like, oh, I didn't say that. And then I have the challenge of trying to remember what I was going to say. And then 9 times out of 10, I don't.
So for you, Mitch, what was how were you feeling about the comedy of the show?
The comedy in the show, I loved every second of it. I don't think a single thing fell flat. I think top to bottom, start to finish, this show just nailed everything. Which
I agree.
So when you hear, about the behind the scenes of, oh, it's a bit messy, it's not coming together how they want, blah 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 blah, and then for it to come out like this, it's like, yeah, you know what, you done it.
Yeah, be afraid of what season 2 looks like once they hit their stride. Like if that's what the show was like with production issues. Holy shit balls.
100%, yeah.
What will it look like when it's smooth sailing? No, I really liked it, and I really liked that there was like, you know, a lot of the MCU gets the complaint where like everybody talks the same way, you know, or at least in the early days, where there was always that complaint about like, you know, you could be handed like sides of a script, and nobody would tell you who is like the main speaker in each scene, and it would be really hard to deduce, like, save for like obvious identifiers like something my suit, you know, so like, oh well, that's a Tony line, oh that's a whatever, that like there's all of that like snark and quippy and whatever, that every character is very funny in different ways, you know. Like Pug is an incredibly endearing himbo. You know, Jen herself has that like, and I've said this before, it is wild to me that they found a way to turn a character with one of the most unrelatable power sets in an incredibly unrelatable profession into the most relatable character in the MCU.
Yeah.
Like,
I suppose that's like the beauty of the character, right? Like why she just works, and she has worked.
Because she just feels so human. She just feels so like, she feels so much like a fully formed person. And I mean that from the first episode. Like from the first episode, like day one, she just like shows up feeling like a fully realized person who's now going on this journey.
Well, it's a Tony Stark effect, right? You know, it's not obviously the exact same thing, but it's very similar, you know, unrelatable job, unrelatable character. But hey, bang. Fully formed, immediately endearing, even though with his case, you probably shouldn't be endeared to Tony Stark. But
no, but even then, like Tony, even though like he as a person is fully formed at his age, like you're watching the genesis of like Iron Man change him.
Yeah.
You know? Where with Jen, like Jennifer Walters is at her peak when this starts. You know, like she is who she is. And then she becomes She-Hulk and her life starts to change, but not in a hero's journey kind of way. You know, it is not this, you know, almost tropey, you know, adventure beyond, you know, your front porch and blah, 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 and hobbits in the Shire and Tatooine and whatever. It is this begrudging story of her going on this very unique self-realization, you know. And you see her get to learn and you see her get to grow, and she's just so endearing. She is just so endearing, you know, the way that even at her at the worst that the story gets to for her, that there is there's still like a fun hopefulness to her. I don't know. Like it's just a specific flavor of character that I sincerely enjoy and have loved every second of. And I cannot wait to see her interact with the greater MCU. You know, like her chemistry with Ruffalo is incredible, which was going to be a prerequisite. You know, it couldn't not work between them.
So with those two, there was no way it wasn't going to work. There's no chance.
So we see that they have, you know, like I said, really good chemistry. Now I just want to see everybody. I want to see everybody bouncing off of Jen, and I want to see Jen bouncing off of everybody else. And there's a part of me that just wants more people to show up in She-Hulk so that we can still play around in the fourth wall breaky, whatever. And going back to the everybody having a different sense of humor within the show, I also love that like Jen's dialectical humor, what's the word? Not dialectical. Her diegetic humor that is like happening within the story is different from fourth wall break, Jen. Right? Like there's self-awareness that kicks in when she does it. That is not like
she has that slight character break, and she's like just someone slightly different.
Just slightly, like the tone shifts a little bit, and it's just enough for it to be noticeable, but not so jarring that it takes you out of those moments. You know, like she's incredibly funny, but it's a different funny than like, you know, I'm a Hulk, I smash bad storylines and bit the dinner, and sometimes Matt Murdock. Like it has a different tone to it.
It's like audience Jen versus character Jen.
Exactly. Like I think the best example I could use is like the season finale with like the conversation with Kevin versus the scene that we're all in where I'm shaking my ass with them.
He almost tasted that. Num 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 num, eat it up.
I'm just gonna spam it because Scotty worked. Thank you, Scott. But like that, like Jen's tone in the Megan Thee Stallion scene and throughout the whole show, there's a humility, you know, where she's like, again, it's very much a kind of humility that is forced onto professional women. This show is very much about misogyny and very much about toxic masculinity and very much about, you know, a man's world type issues and tropes and archetypes. Renee Elise Goldberry's, you know, my least favorite thing about being a female lawyer is people congratulating me on being a female lawyer. I was like, oh man, this like it gets it right. It gets it right. Like this is like, again, I'm not the kind of person who's going to lose their goddamn mind over like the A-Force scene in Endgame for obvious grass touching have talked to women reasons. But I'm also able to recognize that it's a little corny.
Yeah.
But
there's definitely some cheese in there, right?
There's some cheese in there, but it's also a goddamn Avengers movie. So, like, if you didn't expect a little bit of cheese, you're in the wrong place. But She-Hulk has such a much more pointed and worthwhile analysis of those types of issues. The Mary Sue wrote a great article about the men in Jen's life that I highly recommend. It's very, very clever, very insightful, and well written. But yeah, like that Megan Thee Stallion moment where she kind of like rears back and she's like, Megan Thee Stallion, I will die for you, or whatever she says, or I'll kill for you, whatever she says. It's that feels like a distinctly different person.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, you know, the episode already came to a very satisfying conclusion. Like it's a different sense of humor, and I really, really appreciate that. And I think it makes those fourth wall breaks more entertaining in many ways. And you know, I was very curious as to how they were going to handle that.
Well, that was the entire danger of the show, right? Like, how do you do these fourth wall breaks, and to the extent that She-Hulk does, and make it distinguishable from Deadpool? Because whether you like it or not, despite coming first, everyone thinks of Deadpool when you do the fourth wall break.
Yeah. Well, I think because Deadpool has entire stories dedicated to it. Like,
true.
Deadpool has made it a staple in his character in a way that, like, this is more of a quirk of writing She-Hulk, that there is precedent for breaking the fourth wall, but it is not like game breaking if you don't. Where with Deadpool, like, the expectation is that, like, he is going to randomly make a joke about Barakapool. Like, there's an irreverence to Deadpool that I think his fourth wall breaks are more integral to him as a character. And obviously, save for the finale, you know, you could remove a lot of those fourth wall breaks in the show, not lose any of its functionality. You lose a couple great jokes and some really cute moments. again, barring the finale. But up to that point, the fourth wall breaks were kind of superfluous. Whereas, like, in both of the Deadpool movies, like, there's plot that happens in the fourth wall breaks, you know, like, and like I said, like, going back to stories, like, you know, Deadpool kills the literary universe is a thing where the entire story is predicated on him, like, knowing he's hopping between fiction. So I understand why it's given to Deadpool. I also know that he's had more time in the, like, normie light.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, which, I mean, it's definitely the latter. But just in terms of the art and production, like, I understand why people, when you say fourth wall breaking comic book character, more people go Deadpool. Just because it's more of a him thing. But it is a character trait. It's a character trait of his and not so much a quirk of writing She-Hulk, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, like what would, I know I brought up Deadpool because I think you can't really get away from it. What I found interesting, and I can't tell if it's disingenuous or not from the internet, but I should probably think it is because it is the internet after all. But there's this inherent, it doesn't make sense in She-Hulk. No one's ever questioned it for Deadpool. It's like, she's gone to see Kevin. Like, well, how has that worked? Is that a reality? Is this that? Like, Deadpool's just like, ha ha ha, funny. I don't understand. Maybe it's just my brain how it works, but I don't get how that's a line of thinking. It's like, it's a fourth wall break. She's not going to a different reality. She's just breaking out of the show. Like, it's not meant to make sense. That's the entire idea of a fourth wall break. Like, if you think about it, it falls apart. It's like time travel. Like, you think too much about time travel, it's going to fall apart. Just sit down and go with it. Like, it's fiction at the end.
I wouldn't even go so far as to say if you think about it for too long, it falls apart. I mean, it begs a lot of really weird questions, but again, that is the point. I again, to keep going with the, as again, Renee Elise Goldberry's character says, do twice the work, get half the recognition. It's the same issue with women comedians who are women. It's the same. Like, you could have the same joke.
True. Yeah.
You could have the same joke. Like, I know people who are not, like, out and out weirdo fandom menace types who still have that, like, internalized misogyny of, like, I could listen to any dude comedian say the most raunchy, like, blue off color shit you could ever imagine, when it's a woman telling that same, like, kind of, like, hypersexual humor.
Yeah.
It becomes, like, trashy and less funny and less palatable. So, like, I do think there's a level of misogyny at play. And I think that one of the most important things about She-Hulk, and because it's the internet, the conversation won't be worthwhile.
Very true.
Is that, like, a lot of the people who are naysayers, who have been chronic critics of the show, lose sight of a double standard.
Yeah.
And lose sight of the way that, like you just said, there are certain jokes and there are certain quirks of the show that would play better if it were a dude, if it were just Deadpool. I do think if you reworked this show and built it around all of those, like, you maintain every single fourth wall break and you do as little change to this show as you possibly could to make it about Deadpool instead, it would have universal
the exact
praise.
Opposite reaction. Yeah, 100%.
It would have praise from the same people who are denigrating it, because now it's the silly violent guy who won't shut up about chimichangas.
Yeah. It seems to have gotten worse in, like, this month specifically, because a totally different show like Rings of Power has been getting the exact same flack as She-Hulk has been getting on the internet. And, like, Galadriel in that show literally can't even breathe without the internet being like, oh, blah, 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 blah.
I mean, it's reached a point of self-parody, like there is, and there's some things you have to be cynical about. And one of them is the fact that like the fandom menace and those types of people have realized how easy the grift is and have realized we can branch out from Star Wars really easily. So everything is victim to this stuff. And, I've not had a chance to watch Rings of Power yet. But I know every week I see people complaining about shit that Legolas does. I remember when the show first came out, they're like, why is she snowboarding on a sword? And I was like, doesn't he do like a Tony Hawk pro skater shit with a shield down a railing?
He grabs a Nork shield and goes down the steps.
Come on, man. It's I am reaching a point of like, it's not even worth it.
I haven't even tried to do that.
Because I mean, and allow me to clarify what I mean by that. Not worth it in terms of like trying to have a meaningful conversation. Always fight back against these grifters and always remember that it is bigotry at the core of a lot of these bad faith criticisms. And again, like that old quote, I don't know what pornography, I can't define pornography, but I can know what it looks like. I can't tell you what it is, but I know it when I see it. I can't tell you.
It's just a bunch of word salad. That's what I've noticed recently with a pair of them. The words and language they use, it's like one of those movie reviews that says absolutely nothing in 1,000 words. Yeah, like, you're saying words. You're not entirely sure what the definition of that word is. You're putting it in there because it's long and it sounds smart. And that's the entire comment thread. So I'm just like, wow, this is exactly the same. Like every criticism of every show now is exactly the same.
Well, and that's the thing. And like, there are some people who have a underdeveloped negative opinion because someone on YouTube told them to have it, and again, it's that differential of, you can like everybody, anybody who looks like me or looks like Mitch. I mean, granted right now he looks like an automaton, but normally
that is my face.
Yeah, that is his face. But like, just, men, white men, this one doesn't apply to me, but straight white men, like there are learned behaviors that do not make you a bad person, that a lot of people do not understand the concept of like internalized and unconscious biased and unconscious acts of bigotry and microaggressions. People don't understand that because people hear that and think, well, if I do that, then I'm clearly a bad person. No, everybody does, and they're unconscious of it. The only way to make that kind of thing better is to talk about those things. So when you have moments of showing like the She-Hulk scene, or like the scene of She-Hulk and Megan Thee Stallion twerking, and you say Tony Stark died for this, Stan Lee is rolling in his grave, like, that is like the overt, like put it on a big sign with flashing letters, or like the way that there were a lot of dudes who self-reported when they were like, She-Hulk doesn't want to be objectified and catcalled, but she wants to twerk. Whoa. Like,
I
mind-bogglingly misogynistic shit.
It's just like, sorry, Your Honor, but have you seen what she's wearing? Like, I had to do it. Like, what are you talking about? Like, come on.
And I don't know, man. Maybe it's because like for so long the debate has just been like, I don't like it when women have powers. Like for so long it has manifested as Rey's a Mary Sue, Captain Marvel is a Mary Sue, this character is a Mary Sue. I don't like the 13th Doctor. Like it's just for so long it's just been the existence of women in those roles that like the existence.
And so I haven't got a problem with women. I just want good stories.
There was such a sticker shock the moment like some people said the quiet part out loud, with the whole like, well, she doesn't want to be objectified. Why is she expressing herself?
How dare a woman dance?
Like, right?
What do you mean I can't touch? Come on.
Like if I had one like big complaint about the show, it would be, and I haven't seen this anywhere. It boggles my mind. if I had one big complaint about the show, it would be that like the legal element is incoherent.
Yeah.
Like,
I think I'm with you on that.
I wish, and again, but that's where you get into a weird give and take. Like, do you want this to be a legal drama where like you lose a lot of those comedic elements because like we spend most of the show doing procedural stuff and then being in the courtroom? Or do you want like the lawyer stuff to kind of be like a tertiary, like, oh, and now we're gonna do like a fun thing where you get moments like, ma'am, Thor's inspiring speeches are not. You were like, do you want a vehicle to have funny lines like that, or do you want to turn this into like the trial of Frank Castle? Okay, that's a valid, like whatever. Like, it's a weird give and take. I understand why decisions were definitely made.
So you can have both later down the line, like in a season 2, you could maybe go that angle. But I think for right now, it's like let's just introduce it this way. Let's get this.
Yeah, and I think
then you can have that.
And like, I don't know. I think. Let me put it this way: at no point was there an actual trial in this show. Everything was just forms of like arbitration.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Like, I was talking to my mom about it because she asked me, because my mom loves like legal and crime stuff. And she was like, is this worth it? And I told her, I was like, I think it's really funny. I think it's incredibly charming. And for like nerd reasons, this is so very much my shit.
Yeah.
I cannot promise you that you will be satisfied with the legal stuff. I remember when I took a law class, there was the teacher was like, I can't remember her exact phrasing, but she basically explained like the myth of Judge Judy.
Yeah.
Where she was like, these are not court order, like you're in a trial. This is an arbitration where both parties have agreed that there will be an arbitration and there will be this arbiter who is Judge Judy in play, and there just happens to be cameras in the room. At no point does anybody actually go to trial in this show about attorneys. Now, that said, there is an element of realism in how rarely you are actually at trial, which I will give that ground, but everything is so very much built on the back of like, it's supposed to feel like you're in a trial, even though it's very much not, like a Judge Judy type, facade.
It's a televisation, right?
I could have done with there being an actual trial at one point. Like granted there is for like 30 seconds at the beginning, but the whole point of that is Titania shows up and ruins the fun. Which I never got to say this because we didn't get to do a review of the first episode. I thought she fucking killed Titania.
100%, yeah.
The way
Jamila Jamil can do no wrong.
No. I mean, I thought Titania was fucking dead.
Oh, in that way.
When she's great as the character. I'm saying when She-Hulk's fist made impact on Titania's fucking chest, and the way she just completely over her fist and slid across the floor, I was like, oh, they bigged her up to kill her off in 30 seconds. That is so funny.
Well, I mean, with how her plot was clearly cut out of this entire show, they might as well have.
Oh, you think so? Because I thought because it became such a comedy thing, it felt more like oh, she's just a recurring nuisance.
Yeah, but I don't think they did it enough to justify that. I feel like the 3 episodes or whatever they cut out absolutely involved her, because we don't know why she broke into that trial at the beginning. What was she there for? Who were the guy? Because she was clearly going for the big corporation dudes. What's up with that? Why was that a thing? Why she got against them? There was no explanation for that, and then it just then jumps into her against She-Hulk. And it's like, but why? I feel like something was missing in between the first episode and the the patent for the name or the copyright, whatever it is.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I felt like there was something missing there to get from A to B, and that's my only. I said it every week for 9 weeks straight. Like, the show needs more Titania, and it's not just because I like the character and I like the actor. It's just because there was no plot for that character. And I loved every scene she was in. It's just like there should have been one extra episode.
Make you think it's going to be a season 2 thing?
I hope not. I if they can work it in, fine. I'd rather they just maybe learn why they cut those episodes and then make it so they don't have to cut that plot. But I don't want a what if where it feels weird, because if they just straight up reuse them, Jen's not going to be the same character, developed wise, as she's at the end of season 1. Too, if they did that in season 2, but
yeah,
it's just. I hope they go back and revisit it, obviously, but don't just use those episodes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like revisit the plot line. I think you could absolutely. I think there's absolutely room to do some type of like She-Hulk takes on GLK and H.
Yeah.
Like, because you got to remember, and that's like one thing that I think was like an interesting element to her character that gets kind of, we zoom past it because we got to facilitate the show going on. Is that she very clearly has personal stake in wanting to take GLK and H down a peg, or at least the company that is represented by GLK and H in that trial. And she takes that gig real quick, which granted, like, hey man, you got to eat. I get it.
Yeah.
Like I respect it, but I think you could do something interesting where, like, if she's going after him, you could absolutely, like, if she was going after whomever was on trial, you can absolutely make Titania more sympathetic because she's already likable. Like, she's a fun villain, she's a goofball, but you can make her more sympathetic by explaining what her beef with this guy was. And you can also facilitate a situation where She-Hulk wants to take on GLK and H. Like, we don't even know if she's still working for them at the end of the season.
No, I was going to ask you that. Like, I assume she goes back.
When She-Hulk,
you can't say for certain because there's no reason to believe it is. But
listen, and I just want to say this real quick: the She-Hulk finale happening the same day. Was it the same day? It was a Wednesday. I think either the same day or the day after the big Alex Jones judgment.
All right.
And she ends the episode talking about, and if you go around harassing and lying about people, we're coming for you. I saw a bunch of people in the Knowledge Fight Facebook group being like, oh, I love how the season finale of She-Hulk is her turning into Mark Bankston. Which furthers my idea, and Sean, I know you're listening, and I said this to you, recreating the Perry Mason moment with J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson. You can't convince me.
I think you can do it.
I think
it would not surprise me.
It would be so funny. I think Tatiana Maslany could absolutely have a great Mr. Jameson. Did you know that 12 days ago your attorney sent me? It'd be great. And have her be have JJ be represented by the douchebag from the old firm.
Oh, what the Bukowski. Yeah, I dated her and she was crazy then, guy. At the end.
Bukowski.
I can't think of his name. That's the one. Yeah.
There you go.
100%. Yeah, I need it. Yep. Yeah.
There it is. You get Jameson.
That one's not free, Marvel.
Huh?
That's not free.
No, it is not. I will settle for getting to play a juror. And by that I mean I will do everything I can to get the hosts of Knowledge Fight also in that episode as a fun little Easter egg. But I'm a producer now. What can I say? But no, I think you could absolutely do something where, like, again, because it's left ambiguous, where if Jen is like starting her own practice, like that can be this big moment where, like, she has the media cachet of being She-Hulk. that people will pay attention to her taking on GLK
the
and
difficult diva herself.
Yeah, and like she's now representing Titania, who's tried to fucking kill her several times. There's great story there. I think there's a great story there, and I think as fun as these episodes were, if you want to give the show a little more structure, have it be the one case the whole season.
Yeah. If you can get away with that, sure.
Yeah, and I think, and that's how you can kind of like grandfather in some of those plot elements that may have been trimmed from the first season. With Titania, and especially now that like the audience is like, or at least the people who have the taste to enjoy the show, the audience is already like so readily taken to Titania that now that she's like this fun antagonist figure, now we get to see like a more human side of her. So I think that would work really well. Let's talk about cameos.
Cameos or roles?
I don't know. I just know that a character I like showed up in the thing.
Yeah, I like Porcupine as well. Yeah.
It doesn't matter how you define it, because words mean nothing anymore. No, this show was so frustratingly sold short, and I am even less looking forward to Echo.
Yeah, it's going to be the same thing all over again.
And I think it's going to be worse. I think there's going to be an even more like flagrant dismissal of.
Oh yeah, because she has the added benefit of A, not being a white woman. B, Echo doesn't really have that built-in fan base that She-Hulk already had. Like, you know, She-Hulk's been in cartoons and other stuff before. Like, people know of She-Hulk. Echo was just kind of like, who?
Echo was this major dark horse pick. Like, Echo in many ways is that same level of like, hey, I got a fucking idea, you know, that like Andor, you know, for better or worse. Like, it's that same like, hey, I got an idea, you know, and it's like, okay, you are committed to this, and we are going to go hard in the paint with a character that is not a headliner, you know. It's that same reason where like the Guardians of the Galaxy are now a household name. Like, we're going to fuck around and people are going to be like, my favorite superhero is Echo. And we're going to be like, God damn right it is. You know, like gone are the days where it's just the big three. But no, I think the discourse around cameos and stuff has been incredibly draining.
Yeah.
You know, again, that
so Echo doesn't have the doesn't have that deflation of being like, it's my show. Like, remember, this is my show. Remember whose show this is. Like,
that's true. Yeah, they don't have
quippy,
that.
like they can just deflate an argument instantly. Echo's just got,
which is the funniest joke. It is the funniest joke in the show.
100%.
And I say that as somebody who got a belly laugh out of every episode previously on my show.
Oh, I love that one.
You know, like part of me wishes they just called it okay, it's the Daredevil episode. Like they
were gonna. They should have done it. The cowards didn't. They should have done it. But,
calling you a coward, Sean.
To be fair, I can't complain too much about Ribbit and Ribbit.
No. That's why I'm not even that upset about it, because it got replaced with an equally great episode title. But yeah, no, I love like the seamless way a lot of these characters showed up. Obviously, you know, Hulk had to be there at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Wong, seamless, hilarious, does not overstay his welcome. You know, there's like just enough of like, hey, Wong's gonna be in the show that was like presented to the audience before it happened.
Yeah.
And he goes out on a perfect high note. And as much as we talked about Madison with 2 N's and a Y, and it's not where you think it is, as much as we like joked about that character on Twitter, they used that bit for just as long as I think as it would have been funny.
Yeah.
Like, I want Madison.
It's just long enough to like catch on as a meme and to be funny for like a couple of weeks, and you can double dip on that same joke every now and then. But
absolutely.
If they went any further with it, it would have ruined that moment.
Yeah, I love the role that Abomination played. And again, like I'm playing the game by like listing all of these characters who were like important to the story as cameos. But like going back, actually talking about like guest characters, to use that phrase. Abomination was great. And I'm super I love the direction they're taking him in, and a part of me wonders if he's actually going to be in Thunderbolts.
I think he has to be.
Part of me wonders. Because I mentioned that, and then you guys were like, yeah, but he got taken to Carmitage. But I'm like, I don't think that fucking matters. I don't think that's going to stop it. I think they were withholding that information for She-Hulk. Like, the same way.
I feel like it's a sleight of hand. Like they're trying to make you not think he's going to be there. And with how I said it before when talking about Thunderbolts, that lineup is so generic it can't possibly be the final one in the movie. Like the plot of that movie is going to be about assembling the actual Thunderbolts.
I mean, maybe. I don't hate the team. I understand the criticisms. I have my own. I don't hate it. I'm down for it.
I don't hate them individually. It's just boring. They all do the same thing.
I very much disagree with that part, but that's not what we're talking about today. But no,
especially like this version of Emil Blonsky would fit in with the team that they have, but like visually, like they are very. They need a bit of spice in there, and I think Blonsky could be that. That's if they keep the team as the same, right? As if we still have like 5,000 shield throwers and people that will punch each other and shoot guns. But like just plonking an Abomination there, like it works. But
any hoozles. One of the things that I loved about Abomination is like the will he, won't he, with like how much does he actually mean what he's saying?
Yeah. And they had me going the entire series with that.
Yeah.
I could not decide.
Well, the thing that I love about it is that he is genuine. Like,
see, I don't know.
See, he wanted
even
to have
now,
his cake and eat
I
it
still
too.
do.
He wanted to have his cake and eat it too, but by the end, he's like, "All right, I fucked up." Like,
but then he still just goes to Carmitage, doesn't he? Like,
he goes to Carmitage, but like, you know, he's not actively willing to screw over other people.
No, it's very true.
He will be like, and I think there's something very like respectable and endearing about that. Like, I am going to lie for my own benefit. But the moment lying for my benefit is at the detriment to another person, I will tell on myself.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really fun compromise between I want Blonsky to be a villain and I want him to actually like find some type of weird redemption where it's somewhere in the middle and again, it feels more human and relatable where he's like, all right, I fucked up and I'm not going to let Jen take the L for this. This was on me. I lied to her. I lied to him. I lied to them. And the moment I'm allowed to break out, I'm going to. But I'm not going to do it on by dishonest means that affect other people. I'm just going to run away. And I think that makes him infinitely more interesting now. Like on top of everything.
100%. He's no longer just an Abomination rage monster. Right.
Yeah. Like it's really funny. Like I love the fact, and again, like the show like pokes fun at it with like leading into the Kevin confrontation. That like when Blonsky sees Hulk, he's like, wait. Like he doesn't launch into battle. He's like, this isn't what it looks like. And I really love that. Like, I love the humanity that they brought to him. I thought he was incredibly funny. Mark Ruffalo is just fun as Bruce Banner, as always. There's a texture to his voice that is so fun to hear, especially when he kind of gets a little exasperated. Because, like, obviously, like, pre-Professor Hulk in the MCU.
Yeah.
You'd have moments like Infinity War is a great example where he's yelling and his voice kind of starts to break. And there's like a frailty to Bruce Banner's voice that obviously isn't there with the Hulk. So like that was always like a funny little thing that I always loved about Ruffalo's Banner.
I always find it funny that he plays it like he can't act. That's the impression I get. Like a lesser actor would be, obviously it would come across a lot worse, but he plays it in a way like he wants you to think he's not actually acting. I don't know. It's weird. I've always just got this weird. I think it is the voice breaks and just how slightly cheesy. Yeah, especially when you go to Infinity War, right? And he has the whole no bit, and he's like, no, with the Hulk. And it's like there's something. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it properly, but there's just something there. I'm like, it's obviously intentional and it's not bad acting, but it's like choice, he wants you to think. Yeah, it's like he wants you to think it is. And I love it for it.
And we didn't really get it up until now with the Hulk for obvious how he hasn't been in a lot of things reasons. But like getting that kind of hastily voice breaky thing coming out of the Hulk's body. Get the hell away from my cousin, you creep! Like there was it was that was just so funny and cute and refreshing. Obviously, everything that happens in the pilot episode between them is great.
My bar, no,
I know. And again, like I don't understand the critiques about the show, where people are like, "Jen is a piece of shit. She's being mean to Bruce." And the show's like,
it's just media literacy just dying its 12 millionth death, right? Like, she's trying to make a game out of whose trauma is more traumatic. It's like, no, she's not. Like, just saying, like, hey, I go through crap daily and I control my stuff better than you. Is like, that's just saying, hey, I've had experiences as well. It's not my stuff's better than your stuff. No.
And and there's also just like this weird, like, the weird way that women and people of color and queer people in fiction need to earn things more than others. Like,
what was it that he said on Twitter? As a whole Mighty Thor thing. So if there's not one training montage with Jane, it's like,
which is just asinine. Like, I understand people's frustration with the Captain America New World Order stuff, where it's like Sam earning the shield, which like I think was a poorly explained way, because I understand something like he's earned the moniker of Captain America, like he rose to the occasion and he's Captain America now, like he accepted it. Now it's that, like, what does it mean to be Captain America? Like, we need to stop phrasing this shit like they're earning it, because they already earned it by being it. Which is its own thing, but that's not the kind of good faith, like, very like entomological kind of conversation about words. This is, she's ungrateful. I also saw at one point someone was like, she tried to eat those guys who catcalled her, and that was bad. And it's like, we need to have a whole conversation about what the fuck you thought was going on there on so many levels.
I really want to see these shows that they're watching, because we're clearly not watching the same shit. Like, what parallel reality are you from where this thing's actually happening, but somehow I'm seeing your comments on my Facebook and Twitter? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, we're clearly not watching the same thing. But obviously, the elephant in the room in terms of guest characters obviously is one: Charlie Cox, Matt Murdock, Daredevil.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Saracen.
What'd you think of Daredevil?
I mean, it's just Daredevil, right? That's. Do you need any more? Like, he is Daredevil.
That's the tweet. No, you're right. It really does bring Matt to life in a way that we haven't seen before. And it's because, like, I brought this up.
He's allowed to smile.
He's
allowed to be Matt Murdock.
We have, and I said this about Batman all year leading up to the Batman. We have gotten dark and gritty and brutal and realistic and blah, 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 so many goddamn times that I think the audience understands this part of the Batman mythology of Bruce's character.
Yeah.
Let's expand now, please. Can we please tell a story where Bruce Wayne, the Batman, is a symbol of hope?
Can you also please not have
and how?
Or can we please just have Clayface be Clayface, please? I beg.
Hey, they can build to it. I think we're gonna slowly get weirder and weirder. That's what I wanted so badly from that movie, was let Batman be a symbol for more than just he's cool and he hurts people. I want you to show the way he helps people by existing. We're getting that with Daredevil now. Because the TV show is so prolific, we got the dark, brooding, haunted, unsure, complex in his feelings Matt Murdock. And Matt is such a dynamic character because he is at once all of the things you see in the Netflix show. You know, like mournfully wrapped around the crucifix, you know, like all of that iconography is very much Daredevil. He's also, I'm not Daredevil. He is both of those things.
Yeah.
And it's because he's such a rich and dynamic character and has so much going on. And I'm glad that, like, we're slowly starting to arc that way. And I don't know shit about Dick when it comes to Daredevil Born Again. But with a title like that, I can only imagine that we will return to some of Daredevil's darker tendencies.
Still 100. Yeah. My thing with that show,
but that'll be the moment we finally get the synthesis, right? Like, that'll be the moment that it's finally like a combination of both. I'm not Daredevil, I'm a slut.
Yeah.
And like I can only describe it with the theme music. Like, you'll get those two things like in perfect, you know.
You're gonna get, hey, I'm gonna buy a Hulk and Appletini in a bar, and like I'm gonna punch the crap out of Kingpin. Right? You'll get everything.
Yeah,
but that's my, like, when they came out here and like, this thing's 18 episodes. Like, they're gonna be doing literally everything. You want it, you're gonna get it. That's why it's 18 episodes. There's no reason for it to be that long if they're not. They got a lot of time to cover. They got a lot of ground to cover, a lot of character development to cover. You know, going from season 3 to this, Matt, like, you can see that it's an obvious continuation of it. And the fact that they outright tell you it in the show and out of the show, like, you're going to get a lot of stuff in that.
Yeah, I've been really enjoying. Now that the audience is super on board with like everything that like comic book shit is doing, I love the use of like theme music as shorthand.
Yeah.
Like, it started with Justice League. Because Danny Elfman really wanted to be like, this is Superman and Batman's theme and nothing else.
Was that the start of it?
That is the first time I can think of like another franchise deliberately using like the previous iterations theme music.
Are we going? That could be a cheeky one, but you have like the Spider-Man movies always having the da 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 bit.
Oh yeah, but like, I mean, like as a beat within the story.
I suppose it's a beat, yeah.
You know, like in the same way that like when Superman first shows up in like the theatrical version of Justice League, you know, like you have like the scary, you know, dun, 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 like in the minor key during the fight. And when Bruce shows up on the rooftop, you get a little bit of that, na, 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 na. Like it's in there.
Yeah,
And it's like, and we know that you associate this music with these characters. And I like that, like, we're all so in agreement now that, like, you know, I don't think that X-Men 97 is going to play a huge role in the MCU.
No, not a chance.
However, they sure do like using that theme music anytime the idea of mutants comes up. So, and while I know that they're like, yes, it's the Daredevil you know and love from Netflix's Daredevil, I am still preparing for a what's canon is canon and what isn't, and we'll decide when we get there approach. But like,
yeah.
I do like, but again, it's such a perfect moment. Like, I'm Daredevil, and they just get that like really understated little xylophone. It's perfect. It's such a great beat. Like, keep theme music. We need to stop throwing away people's theme music every time they get rebooted.
Well, this is the thing. Like, Marvel's been really bad. I know that I'm not going to go into the whole like that video from way back of like, oh, no one knows the Avengers music video. Like, say that now, you look like an idiot. But
yeah,
there was a point where like every like Iron Man 1, 2, 3, there was no consistent score or motif for Iron Man. Cap had a little bit of it. Thor. Doctor Strange, you had a bit, but then you next see him again and it's completely gone. And it was only really like Infinity War Endgame where they did it right. It's like, hey, Captain Marvel shows up. Here's the Captain Marvel theme tune. Like, since then, you haven't really had that until I think Daredevil might actually be the first character to have that since Endgame. Like another character being in another thing and having that theme tune play.
I mean, there's the X-Men 97 stuff with Xavier in.
I suppose, yeah,
Madness,
I didn't think
but
of
like,
that. Yeah,
but no, I think you're absolutely right. Like, Spider-Man has a distinctive theme. Sons of Odin is occasionally Thor's theme. You know, like there's the. You're right. You know, like the music has been consistently inconsistent. And Endgame is the first time that it really is meaningful. Like the same way that, like the one fight with the Red Skull, like they bring back that entire like leitmotif for Cap wielding Mjolnir.
Then you get the irony of Multiverse of Madness where they don't even use Doctor Strange's theme in it once.
Then seriously, like at all?
I think you'll find, it's complete. Well, it's different composer, isn't it? They just completely go totally different.
Huh.
I don't think I can't remember because it was Giacchino, wasn't it? Who did the original?
Yeah.
Was it someone? Yeah, like I don't think it's in there.
That's a shame.
But then that's the movie that's got the X-Men 97 theme in it, and then it's carried that throughout.
Yeah. See, that's funny because like Strange is one of the few characters who actually had like that like creepy string leitmotif because that definitely plays when he shows up in Ragnarok.
Yeah, it's in Ragnarok. Yeah,
but
it's then not in. I think it's in Infinity War. I could be wrong about that bit, actually.
I think they have something that's adjacent to it when they show up at the Sanctum, but because it's like an introduction to both Wong and Strange, it would be weird to just be like, and here's the Strange music, because it's like a joint moment. But anyway, She-Hulk, in my opinion, to kind of bring it home here, is the best show we've gotten on Disney Plus so far.
100%.
It has a level of consistency that we haven't seen since Loki, in my humble opinion. Yeah, I love everybody in this, and I cannot wait to see more of it. Yeah.
I say this show feels like Loki, right? It's got this similar sort of, not structure or anything going for it, but it feels, if you put all the shows together and like just go purely based on feel. I think Loki and She-Hulk feel the same. I'm not using feel in the right context in any way, shape, or form. I'm really trying to. I can't think of how.
I was just say. I mean, I can't say I completely agree on that. I'm more,
Obviously, the tones and like the genre of the shows are wildly different, but I think there's something about the structure that's
perhaps
closer to
I'm sure
each other than anything else.
Absolutely understands what you're getting at, because I know I don't.
If they do, there's some like fifth dimensional big brain, because I don't even think I know what I'm getting at.
That's great. But Mitch, because I love you, I'm not going to make you give a letter grade. I am, however, going to give She-Hulk an A+. Or you know what? I'm going to give it an A. No. I'm going to give it an A, not an A+.
Can we go Japanese like school grades on this one and go like S? No, go above A.
Sure.
And yeah, that's what I'm putting out.
Okay, I respect it. Little programming note. I am currently working on fixing it, but it has been brought to my attention that the last episode of the Versus series, Plo Koon versus Maul, did not upload properly to Patreon or YouTube. So I am currently working on remedying that. For whatever reason, the audio version will not upload in full. It is 33 minutes out of a 2-hour long episode.
Christ.
Yeah. So for those of you who are waiting for that, there is a non-zero chance that Maul v. Plo Koon is only on YouTube. And if that is the case, obviously the link will be posted in the Patreon. Similar to that, we're going to be trying to record our Halloween special here soon. Spencer and I got to make some final decisions. It'll either end up being a Halloween special or it won't be a Halloween special. Because Spencer and I went, yeah, let's do characters who have been possessed. And I haven't had time to dive into that as much as I've wanted to yet. But that said, and this will be going out on Wednesday the 19th. So tomorrow night, October 20th, I, at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, will be on the Bombadcast for their yearly Star Wars Creepypasta Halloween special. So tune in for that. It has become a Halloween tradition that I be on for that show. So, yeah, other than that, it's all the programming stuff. Mitch, where can the lovely people find you, good friend?
I actually have a link tree now, and I can't remember for the life of me what it is. Where it's just got the 2 links because I'm too lazy to say everything. But 692 tweets, 692 pics, respectively, Twitter and Instagram. YouTube.com/@TCBC. You can find me in the podcast there, and whenever there's something on, like an Andor, or unfortunately like an Andor, or like a She-Hulk.
Shut the fuck up.
I mean, it's boring.
You're just dumb.
I'm just what? I mean,
I'm just smarter than you.
I mean, that's a very low bar. If you want to clear it, just take a step. No.
Oh, hush. You're a very fair gentleman. Just not about Andor, which I have to watch whenever we're done.
I mean, I have to watch it, but I'm gonna maybe find an excuse to not watch it and wait till next week.
Hey, you do what you got to do, bud.
Yeah, it's just, and what I got to do is preach about how boring that show is. It's... Yikes! But yeah,
absolutely shameful.
Yeah. Shameless, I prefer. Well, yeah, there's Kindcast 2 YouTube channel. Shit's there. Yeah.
Well, you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DarkJedi2552, and you can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on our website, www.thenerdacademypodcast.com, where if you're feeling generous, you can donate to our Patreon.
Give me $1.
The clips are starting to get choppy again for a second. Mitch,
it worked fine. Worked absolutely fine.
Did you happen to catch our first batch of Andor reviews?
I have seen The one for 1 to 3. I
So
think I still need to finish 4.
So you know who Spencer met?
No.
That's the Gimme a Dollar guy.
Oh yes, I have seen that. Yeah. I saw. What was I? What did I watch on your channel? I saw that on.
That
was it only been on the Andor?
It was Andor episodes 1 through 3, and Spencer Gets a Dollar was the title of the episode. Which to this day, it still makes me so happy that chance encounter happened.
He looks clean.
He looks clean.
Sensational.
There it is. Everybody's favorite clip. But speaking of our patrons, thank you to our $10 alumnus, Nick Johnson. I thought I hit it hard enough.
That's what she said.
Maybe I'll walk out of here tomorrow and you never see me again. That's really what I want to do.
I love that clip so much.
Funny because he doesn't have money anymore. Keandre Lloyd.
I always think that clip should be shorter, but then every time I see it, I don't know.
No.
It builds suspense up. It's fine.
I know. I want to trim it, but I'll lose the backflip, and that's what it's there for. Also, just looking at YouTube right now, the video version of the episode is cooperating, so that is currently on YouTube. I will put the link in the Patreon when we are done recording this, and it'll be ready for you guys. Son of a bitch, it's only 33 minutes and 33 seconds. What is going on? What is happening? I just said, I was like, wow, it worked. And then I looked down and I saw the time code. Okay, it's going to be a little while, guys. I'm working on it.
So the file you're uploading is like 2 hours long, but YouTube's only been like, nah, half hour.
And the audio version only wanted to be a half an hour as well. But I was looking at it when I rendered, and it went all the way to the end of the episode. I started the render last night when I went to bed, and I came down this morning, and it was playing the end of Paco's clip. I came down just in time to watch Alex Jones scream in slow-mo. Speaking of which, thank you to our other $10 patron, Paco, aka Taylor.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. From the front lines of...
I'm disappointed Paco's still Taylor Swift.
I am too.
It's been Taylor Swift for 3 months now. What's going on?
I know, but listen, it makes sense though because she's dropping a new album this week, so you might as well not change it now.
I don't.
You know what I really need to make? I need to take the scene from Daredevil season 3.
The primal one, yeah.
A primal scream, Mr. Poindexter.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
It would work so perfectly.
There's a lot of screams in Daredevil and the whole Defenders things that could work quite well.
Yeah, that's true. That's really true. But yeah, anyway,
the Punisher.
Anyway, guys, I'm gonna try to get this sorted out with Plo Koon versus Darth Maul, which makes me really upset because this is one of the best episodes of the Versus series too.
So what's the way? Have you tried just straight up re-rendering the audio by itself and then making the video again?
I've not. No. If I can't get it to work by the end of the day, here's the thing. I normally don't have to edit anything. The only reason why I had to edit this episode was because there was a little coda I wanted to put at the beginning, because the onus for the matchup is in Darth Maul's Shadowhunter, a Legends novel. There's a scene where Darth Maul is waxing poetic about certain Jedi he wants to test his skill against. and Plo is one of them. And because he's like, Plo Koon, maybe even Mace Windu. And I was like, okay, Mace Windu is a little bit above your weight class, buddy. But I think Plo Koon is more of a fair fight. And it was right after they did the Legends re-release of, because they're doing like the Essential Legends collection.
Yeah.
They did the re-release for Shadowhunter. Now, Shadowhunter did not have a full-length audio book until the Legends re-release, because that's the other thing, is that they're like recording full, like unabridged audio books for all of these novels that didn't have one yet.
Yeah.
Shadowhunter being one of them, narrated by Sam Witwer now. It's great. Cannot recommend it enough. And I wanted to get the clip from the audiobook of the scene where Maul is like, again, like imagining to himself how great it would be to fight all of these Jedi. And I wanted that to kind of be like the intro into the episode. So I can't get that to work. It's just going to get posted without that intro. It's not the end of the world. I explain in the episode why I made the choice anyway, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But I'm getting frustrated that it's only doing 33 minutes and 33 seconds.
Yeah, there's something wrong there.
It's fucking with me.
Yeah.
And I'm getting angry. Anyway. Like I said, check out Comic Book Cast. Obviously, I'll be on Bombay Cast tomorrow night. Y'all better be there. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the things. And class dismissed.
Stop! Move away from the cookie jar.
You almost tasted that. Num, eat it up. Go play okay, 3, 2, 1. You know I'm the hottest. You ain't never gotta heat me up. I'm you